once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am excited for once again, praise God for another day. And blessings to all of you who have already swinging through, sharing your greetings, sharing your love, sharing your support. And please don't forget to hit the like on the way in, the thumbs up. It costs nothing, and who knows, I think it does some good. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Happy Monday to everyone. And look at that. Starting us off right. Member for 5 months. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Blessings to you. I got sirens passing by. Hopefully they're not coming through too loud, too noisy. Having some fun today. The topic today is a serious one. Yesterday, I took a day off from live streaming. The day before was something different. And so after taking a day away and reflecting and considering, contemplating my path, my purpose, what is it I'm doing? Today, the topic, overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris. Overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris through surrender. That seems like a pretty good topic for the world that I'm seeing, the world I see us living in. There is a lot of those things. And speaking of traditions and delusions, and we'll just call it some fun. Today, I guess, as it's recognized, it's Happy Groundhog Day. So somewhat today is like things of the past, but somewhat today will also be different. In the thumbnail today, the idea, in the background, the reminder, and it's right in line with this topic. In the background, the reminder, deception and secrecy, that's what keeps us at war, but truth and compassion, those bring peace. And so the idea is overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris through surrender. This thumbnail, the quote on here, I love how prayer can immediately calm your heart and give you peace. Now that is truth. That's a true practice that I found for myself. And if you consider what prayer is, prayer means you're placing yourself into a position of humility, right? It's typically when we are praying to a higher power, or a being of greater power, greater consciousness, greater awareness than ourselves, that prayer, for us to pray, it brings us to a place of humility, right? And the humility of prayer with a surrender to presence, being the presence of who you are in this position of prayer and humility. It brings rewards that empower the spirit. And that spirit that gets empowered, it immediately calms your heart. It can give you peace. That's the thing that I hope to share a little bit of today, is some of these ideas and benefits, some of the logic and results, right? The logic that leads to these conclusions and the results that come from these conclusions of overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris through surrender. It's through a willingness to surrender, to humble ourselves, to allow ourselves to be less than the ideas that have taken over us. And what I've witnessed, part of the reason this came up is in the last live stream a couple days ago, I tried discussing some things in the world that I see, and the feedback I'm getting is it's just propaganda. It's all lies. Well, this is part of the problem of our world. There are lies, there is propaganda, but you shouldn't dismiss what the world shows you. And what the world has shown me and us, if you're alive in the world today and you're not seeing what's going on in the world and in the news and in America, you might be part of the problem. How about that? You know, because if you're just ignoring the problems, if you're a good man, a good woman who is ignoring the problems of the world and you're choosing to stay silent, you're choosing to focus only on your path, maybe you are a part of the problem. And I don't want to point blame. I'm not here to blame. I'm not here to judge, but I am here to suggest if you want to be a part of the problem, get out of the way. Get out of my way. Matter of fact, if you don't see the problems in the world and you think someone like me is a problem, you think I'm the one who's deceiving people or misleading people, please unsubscribe. Don't come back. I don't need you. I don't want you. What I do want, what I do want is to connect with other people like me, people who care, people who give a shit and realize, hey, I don't know all the answers. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I can see that there's injustice in this world, and I know I can do something. Because until we believe we can do something about the problems we see, we're not even going to try. And I've been trying. I've dedicated my life to living as me. And the past ways I've been living as me, dedicated to the cause of peace, it's cost me everything. And I'm not a man who backs down, especially just by the cost of things. If something is worthy of getting done, yeah, put me in, coach. I'm the guy for the job. Hey, brothers, absolutely. A new day is here. And that's why I'm back. That's why we're back. And I trust that many of you here are here for that. The new day, the new way. You want to see what can we accomplish. And we are living this. I truly trust and believe the words of the Bible are coming true. The words of the Bible have been true. But they've been so misunderstood. The words of the Bible have been so misunderstood. The idea of the gospel, the good news, right? Salvation. I heard a beautiful description of salvation today. I'm not saving the world. That's just it. When are you saving the world, Jack? I am not. That's not my job. It's not my purpose. My purpose is to be me, and who I am a man. I'm a man just like many others, yet I'm a man who follows the way of Jesus. Not the ways of the church, not the ways of Paul, the teachings of Paul, right? With the with a worship of orthodoxy and structure and religious dogmas. That's not me. I am a man who follows the way of Jesus in my own clumsy way. For what I found, and this brings me back to what I heard earlier, salvation. Salvation is recognizing and knowing the God within, here and now. Do you know the God within you in the here and now that's with you? The here and now that you are, do you recognize the God within that caused you, the first cause, right? Before your parents, before your grandparents, before the earthly ways of you becoming you, there's a first cause, and that first cause is the source of all creation, the source of all light and knowledge and love. And it is that spirit of God that moves us. It is that spirit of love and spirit of truth that can lead us. But we don't have to follow the truth. We don't have to follow love. We can obey the codes and policies of other people who put on costumes and they carry around guns and badges and tell everybody what to do. You can follow their orders. And sometimes you should. But truly, the path to be is to be with God as you are, where you are, here and now. It is that knowing that will bring you from salvation, right? That will bring you salvation, salvation from the first cause of problems for you. The first cause of problems for you, just as with God being the first cause of solutions with you, God is within you. The first cause of problems for you is you. It's the one you see in the mirror. It's not the guy down the road. It's not that ex partner, the ex girlfriend, the ex wife, husband, boyfriend, whatever. It's not that. The first cause of everything with you is you. I had to recognize in myself, I carried a lot of, for years, I had patterns of denial. I didn't recognize the hell and the misery that I was walking around in, but I did. I had this dark veil of me over the world and over me, and everything I saw less than. I saw less than good. I saw all these problems. I saw all this suffering, all this misery in the world that I was given. And it's the same world I see today. But I've got a different view. I've got a different lens that I hope to share with you. So you can see the truth of you. You can see the truth of the world that you've been given. Overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris. I wanted to get some information, right? Some ideas on this. Denial, delusion, and hubris. We'll see just what comes up with that, what other thoughts might bring. I thought this is pretty clear. Denial, delusion, and hubris form a dangerous, often fatal feedback loop that distorts reality, fostering excessive pride, irrational decision making. These psychological and behavioral traits enable individuals or groups to ignore warning signs. That's what denial is, when you ignore the warning signs, when you construct a false reality. When you construct a false reality, you live with delusion, and then you act with arrogant overconfidence, which is the hubris, typically leading to catastrophic failures. And I see the world today. I see the world today leading us to catastrophic failures. And I thought about bringing up news again. I've tried sharing some things I've seen in the news, and the feedback I've been receiving is just, it saddened my heart. People just automatically jump into the conclusion, it's propaganda, it's lies, it's deceit. Well, if that's all you see in the world in the news, if all you see is propaganda and pretend, then maybe it's you who's living in a fairy tale. And I ask you, how long? How long can you live in delusion? How long can you live apart from salvation? How long can you live apart from humility, from trust, from love, from happiness and freedom and joy? All the fruits of holiness that God has given to us as man and woman, as people in this world, human beings. We've got this spark of life and a spirit of life. It's given to us, and it can be called the Holy Spirit. It can be known as the Holy Spirit. It can be identified and felt as holiness. And that holiness is a spirit of emotion and energy. There's something I meant to get to with that, and I'll swing back. I'll swing back. Why does Jack keep getting mad? I get fired up. I don't know that I get mad. I get accused of being mad, but I'm not. Hubris. Actually, initially I was looking at pride and hubris, but I recognize that pride has a good quality in it as well. And that's why I changed the title. Originally, it was going to be Overcoming Denial, Pride, and Hubris. But looking into the distinctions between pride and hubris, I felt this was more appropriate because pride is not necessarily a bad thing. It is hubris that leads us to believe that possibly everything that happens to us is exactly our fault. Possibly. I don't want to dismiss that outright. It's not the direction I'm going. Typically, I see hubris as being more commonly what I see people with hubris is they place themselves in this blameless category, right? Dismissing the news, saying, "Oh, they're just actors. That's just propaganda. That's not real. It doesn't affect me, so it's not real to me." And then they feel absent and innocent of, they don't have to do anything about it if it's not real. Where I was going regarding pride and hubris, I like these ideas. Pride, generally positive. It's an earned sense of accomplishment or self-worth, while hubris is excessive, often unearned, arrogant pride that leads to blindness, leads to overconfidence and inevitable downfall. You know what? Real what life. I know you probably got a decent sense of humor, but I've seen enough of you to know that I don't really care to have you around. You're welcome to unsubscribe, leave, whatever. And if that comment wasn't directed at me, well, you're still welcome to do whatever you want to do. Just having a conversation about whether you had any choice in being good or bad. Part of it, I would believe, is karma, right? Cause and effect. There's many causes in the effects of who we become and how we are, but the goodness, it's a choice. We align with God, we align with the truth, we align with love, and we are on the side of good. That's what I found for myself, and that's truly, I'm bouncing around on a lot of ideas here, and I realize that again. The simplicity of the gospel and the good news for those who have familiarity with the Bible. The gospel is the simplicity, the perfect simplicity that God has offered for you and me to know and to discover, the way to live. The entire summation of what Jesus showed and taught, summed up very simply: love God. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your purpose. Love God and love others as yourself. Love God and others as yourself. How about you just love, right? Break it down to simple. Just be with love. Be with love from when you wake up to when you go to bed. Be with love. You can, think about the alternatives. What are your other choices? You want to be with sadness? You want to be with anger? You want to be with rage, depression? You can. You can be with hate. But hate doesn't solve any problems. All it does is brings complaints, brings ideas of revenge and punishment. Don't we have enough of that in this world? See, that's the delusion I see in this world. We've got these authorities and experts. Everyone's trying to profit from one another. We've hardened our hearts as a society. We have become a species with amnesia. We know not where we came from, but everyone's got an idea. Everyone thinks they know. To me, that's hubris. That's excessive ignorance. The idea of pride and hubris, though. Pride can be positive, right? And the key differences between pride and hubris, just so we know, what I am trying to refer to. The key differences between those. Definition in nature, pride is authentic. It's a positive emotion stemming from genuine achievements, skill, or effort. It is associated with high self-esteem, conscientiousness, and emotional stability. Hubris is more hubristic and inflated, arrogant pride. I think there's plenty of people online you can see that fit that bill, and I know people point that finger at me too, but an inflated, arrogant pride that often exists without a specific, deserved accomplishment, characterized by arrogance, narcissism, and low conscientiousness. Pride grounded in reality, often shared or celebratory. We can celebrate with each other when people accomplish, right? We can celebrate accomplishments with each other, with honesty, with love, with care. But hubris is a delusional, often requiring others to feel inferior for the hubristic person to feel superior, often described as pride that blinds. I like that. Pride that blinds is a great definition of hubris. Consequences. Pride encourages continued effort, skill improvement, social acceptance. That's where we can really empower one another with honest pride in who we are becoming, pride in overcoming the past problems. Hubris leads to social, professional, or personal downfall. It's a frequent trope in literature. So the reason I bring these up, as I said, seeing some of the people, so many people, being so dismissive over what the world is showing, it reminded me of me, who I used to be, back when I was caught up in my little beliefs, my beliefs of thinking small, where I carried a lot of guilt. I carried shame. Why? Why did I carry guilt and shame? Well, I had hubris. I thought I knew better than others. I was very judgmental. I was quick to blame. I was quick to jump to assumptions and conclusions, not just about myself, but about the world around me. And that pattern of behavior, while it was chosen by me, that kind of goes back to that question I think Joe Cool may have been pointing out. The question of, do we choose good or bad? In the past, I thought I was choosing to be me, but what I was choosing was a delusion of me. I fell in love with an idea of me. I fell in love with an idea of the world. And the idea I had of the world was absent from God. God was not in my life. God was not in my awareness. God was not in my thoughts. I didn't have time for God. I saw that religion didn't really help those other people I saw. I mean, those people who went to church instead of watching the football game, I thought they were missing out. They were missing out on time at the bar, right? Yeah. When people blame themselves for things they can't control, they internalize guilt and wind up hating themselves for no reason. And this is what the world has taught us. Trauma does that. Trauma does that to so many people in so many ways. When we find ourselves hurt and we lack connection, there's no one to turn to, especially when we're young. Before the mind is developed, we find these pains in our lives, emotional pains, physical pains. And there's no denying the abuse and the sickness that is in this world. There's so much abuse and so much sickness in this world because there are so many wounded people. People carrying around these wounds from the past where they don't know the answers. And what happens with trauma when we find pain in our lives, especially before the mind is well developed and formed, if we don't have someone to turn to, we'll find ourselves with abandonment issues. This is what happened with me. I felt abandoned. Was I abandoned? No. There was people around me. There was people who cared for me, but I didn't feel a connection to them as I was suffering. And so because I couldn't find a connection with those around me, I started blaming myself, coming up with these ideas of me being unworthy, me being not good enough for love, right? I wasn't, well, it's the world I was raised in. As a man, you're not really worth anything unless you're earning your way, you're proving yourself, you're owning things, controlling things. Unless you're a boss, you're nothing. And I didn't grow up as a boss, so I started blaming. I started carrying a lot of internalized guilt, and I didn't realize it. I thought I hated others. I thought I hated the whole world. I thought I hated people. I'd lost sight of I'm a people. I'm the one who's experiencing the hate that I'm feeling. And so if I can help communicate these things to others, this is why I am here. This is why Jack Talcott has a channel on YouTube. This is why I'm on social media. This is why I'm putting myself out here to try and help others avoid some of the pains and some of the mistakes that I've made. And maybe you're not in danger of that, but if I can help you find a greater peace, if I can help you find a better practice for yourself of prayer, right? If I can help you find your way of prayer and meditation that can bring you the results that immediately calm your heart and give you peace, oh, that would be such a blessing for me. Because my purpose here on earth is to serve. And Joe, this is the simplicity. God's goodness is so great. God's greatness is so magnificent. The simplicity that's been offered to us from thousands of years ago. Jesus, Yeshua, he is the master teacher given to the world for us to realize God's love, man. Love one another as I have loved you. That is the commandment from Jesus. Hey, this isn't wrong. I'll agree. It is good to feel angry when bad things happen. Holding in your emotions, it's worse for you. It is. Okay. And I don't know. I've been kind of these comments from a ways back. So I don't know. Let me get caught up. Some people know how to build a house and some don't. True. Knowing stuff isn't an indication of hubris. It's pretending to know things without earning the right to claim it. I agree completely. Thank you. Blessings to all of you. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a good or bad button. We can literally choose outside of video games. We can choose to improve ourselves, but we cannot guarantee our choices are good. I agree. There is no guarantee in life. All results come from powers greater than ourselves. The only thing we get to choose is the direction, right? We make choices, and those choices will cut out other options. And in the choices and decisions we make, that puts us in a direction. And then not only do we make a choice in the direction we go with the choices we make, but then we also choose the effort. How much we push, how hard, how much energy we put into this direction, into this choice. And different choices have different requirements, and there's so many variables involved with everything that comes with being a human. I agree. There's not a good or a bad button. We can literally choose. The results come from outside of us. We can choose to improve ourselves, but we can choose to try and make good choices. See, and if we don't try to make the good choices, if we don't even have an idea of what is good, then we'll just take whatever choice is given to us. Sometimes we'll just accept the most convenient choice. And I think that's what I did a lot in my past, was accepted the choices that others had given to me. Oh, blessings to you. Thank you. I needed to hear this today. I hope so. I hope what I share is found to be a benefit for some. And it doesn't have to be all of you, that's for sure. Everyone has their own path, their own way. But what I do invite all of you to do, allow yourself to be humble. Not just in the here and now, with me, with us, but in your path, in your life. Allow yourself to be wrong. If you're so afraid of being wrong, you're not going to be willing to change. You're not going to be willing to look at other alternatives, at different ways. That was my fear. I recognized this as one of my fears long ago. Memories of punishment and pain, memories of denied rewards, right? Denied rewards, the absence of comfort, feeling pain, the memories of punishment, all of those things brought me tremendous fears. I was so afraid of being wrong. I was so afraid of disappointing others. I was so afraid of letting others down. And then I didn't see that's exactly what I'd been doing. See, I lived with my own delusions. I lived as an alcoholic for a majority of my life. The last decade of my drinking was severe. It was so sick. And if anyone is dealing with addictions or problems like that, if you're feeling the powerless and the misery that comes with that, the daily guilt, the daily shame, the daily practice of recovery, right? Your body's trying to heal itself as you keep poisoning yourself. And it doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be any substance. Overeating. It could be stepping out on relationships. It could be excessive spending. It could be any sort of behavior. All of us can pick up these patterns. If I can help, that's why I'm here. That's why I have a channel. That's why I have my name on social media. That's why I place that's why I've got a website. Let me not forget that. Where is that? For those who understand that, the QR code, I think it'll take you to my website, the Live Without Fear. And I've seen confirmation that the contact form submission now does work. So if you want to reach out to me more discreetly, that's a private way to do so. Otherwise, I've also got my number, right? Text or phone call. If you feel that I can be of support, I'm here. I'm here until I'm not. As are we all. Brothers and sisters, we are living at a time here in the world. I've mentioned my social media feeds. I've mentioned the things that I'm seeing. More recently in the common news, we've still got the ICE agents being deployed. And I believe still, I don't know if National Guard troops are still being deployed in the US, but we've got a militarization happening here in the US. We're still dealing with the same inflated spending on the military projects, right? I heard up to $1 trillion now being budgeted for military operations. The US military already has the evidence and reputation of being one of the world's largest polluters. The US military, by its use of all the fossil fuels and the chemicals and all the other stuff that they deal with on a regular basis, the US military is one of the world's largest polluters here in the world. So for those of you who are environmentalists, you got a mind and a heart that cares for Mother Earth, we are a part of this. We are responsible for what America is doing. If we're not responsible for what America is doing, if you think it's just Donald Trump, if you think it's just the people in office, you're mistaken. Because we are a body. We are a body of people here that represent America. And what America does around the world is a reflection of what you and I and all others in America are allowing to happen. So we see this inflated spending in the militarization of, and we've got the more authoritarian representation happening in the US. We've got the news of the Epstein files, right? The names of the co-conspirators, the names of the abusers are still being protected as the names of the victims are being released. So why aren't we listening to the victims? Why are we waiting for the US government to say, hey, these people are the ones involved? The victims know who were involved. They've been looking into it. Their families, their representatives, they've been looking into these things for much of their lives. Why are we dealing with this? Why are we pretending that this can't be changed? See, to me, that's the greatest lie. That's the propaganda. When the average citizens tell our neighbors, we tell our friends, oh, we can't do anything. Or even worse, oh, don't believe the news. That's not real. It's all staged. It's all made up. Some of it might be. Some of it might be, but what if it's not? What if it's not? What if there is really these billionaires and power people in positions of great wealth and great influence who have been blackmailed, put into these positions, really corrupted things, right? There's evidence of their corrupted behaviors. There's all sorts of news coming out with these things. Why are we not hearing those sirens going to the people in Congress and everyone listed in those Epstein files? And why aren't they being taken in to be interrogated and questioned about their participation in the abuse of minors? These are the things that I actually want to see happen here in this world. I believe that the gospel, the good news of God, the gospel that was brought through the grace and perfected love of the master teacher, Yeshua, Jesus. The commandment is to love. And with love, we can find forgiveness. We can find forgiveness through repentance, confession, admission, right? We can bring justice into this world, just as injustice has been imposed. And from the years in the labor unions, these old adages of solidarity, these things are true. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And if you are so blind that you cannot see the injustices in this world, it's time for some prayer. It's time for some humility. And ask the higher spirit, ask the higher power of you the greater awareness of you to lead you to the answers for you so that you can see. This is my prayer as well. I pray often to God, God, please allow me to see. Allow me to see the way for me. Allow me to see your light, right? Your way, your truth, your love. Allow me to see the path for me. And the path for me, as with the path for you, it is here and now. Here and now. And so if you go within and if you go through prayer and meditation, uniting your mind and your heart together, allowing your heart to lead instead of your mind leading. Having our mind lead our hearts is what's created this world of division where we make excuses and justification for exploiting one another, for stealing one another, for harming one another. It's the mind overriding the heart. But if you go within to the way we are designed to have the Spirit lead you, the heart can lead the mind. And if you allow the heart to lead your mind, to know the presence of God is with you here and now, I believe that's the key. The key to your salvation is to know the God within you here in the present, because here in the present is when you are. And each of us, we are all on this path of life that God has placed us on, where we're all learning, discovering, imagining, and remembering whatever it is that we do. I don't know if I'm making much sense with this now. I wrote down my blockages. What was I thinking about that? My blockages and being projecting out. Something I considered earlier, and what got me fired up in one of the recent live streams is that feedback. The feedback of this dismissal of the worldly information. It's all propaganda, right? It's all pretend. Each of us, we represent the world to each other. You represent the world I live in to me. I represent a small aspect of the world that you live in to you. The people we experience are a representation of the greater world, the world that is outside of me, the world that's outside of you. We each represent the world to one another. So what are we showing one another? How are we representing the world to each other? This is a question that I've been looking at, and yesterday, while I didn't stream, I paid attention. I listened, and I'm Jack Talcott, man. Sometimes I become a topic of conversation, and some of the things I've heard saying about me didn't really impress me. And part of this today, the idea of what I am doing on this live stream, while it looks the same as before, I am committed to making some changes. And some of the changes I'm considering, and maybe I'll open it up and invite people to provide feedback. I think that is probably a safe and appropriate way to do so. For those who wish to join the conversations today, feel free. My tolerance, my patience with disrespect and ignorance directed at me, it's going to be very small. Not gonna entertain much of that. However, for those who want to have some feedback, share some feedback with me, and I'm open to ideas and reasoning, some of the changes that I may be bringing forth. Initially, I'm thinking I may reduce the frequency that I live stream. And I realize there will be those who won't appreciate the changes they bring, and maybe the viewers, the numbers may drop, and I'm prepared for that. But I'm not prepared to continue being disrespected and just completely dismissed and mocked. Not when, not when I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. I know where my heart is at, and I do. I genuinely care. And if I can't connect with people who care, then I really don't want to be here. Um, Cage, I'm not impressed that you're the first one, but what are you bringing, Cage?
What's the Talcott of the day?
What are you bringing me, Cage? Did you hear the things I've been saying?
Yeah, I've been listening a little bit.
And what feedback are you offering on the things you heard me say?
I'd like you to expand on it. Yes, sir.
Which part?
About knowing who you are, Mr. Talcott. Who are you? What are you bringing in to the feedback of the...
You're not bringing me what I asked for, Cage. You're one of those that, yeah, I'm done with, Cage. Go find somewhere else to hang out. You're not welcome here. Not until you prove differently. And I'm easily reached. You can demonstrate to me that you have changed, and then maybe I'll bring you back. But Cage, don't bother. And if you're not able to, tune in and get what you want, unsubscribe. Go elsewhere. Okay, find something else to do with your time. Untrackable, how are you today, my friend?
Yes, I'm doing very well, and I hope you are as well.
I am. So where I dropped the link for is I'm looking for folks who have some sort of feedback, maybe ideas that could help me do better. Meaning, what can literally be done? What are some realistic ideas to change the conversations that I'm allowed to have here? Right? Because I create the space for people to join me, but they don't really talk about what I'm saying. Salty Siren, let's just go. I've unblocked you several times. Why don't you go away as well? And Cage, go away. I've explained myself to you, Cage. Why you block me? Because you don't listen. You don't even try to listen. So, Joe, thank you. I'm establishing more realistic boundaries. There's been people who have been clearly disrespecting me, taking advantage of me, and frankly, I'm sick of being treated like a joke. So, Untrackable, what I was suggesting is, how do I improve this? Since I can't seem to find the guests who want to support what I'm doing, do I just do this less often? Do I stop making myself available? What do you think?
Well, I said it as a comment down below. Surrender and yield, they are, synonymous, you know. However, they are not quitting. You can yield and not quit. You can surrender and not quit. It's like the live to fight another day.
And
Um,
how is that relevant?
well, you're talking about reducing yourself because of the responses that you get. That's what you said. Should you do this less often?
Right.
Well, maybe maybe your frequency is not the problem. Maybe it's how you deal with who shows up.
You're right. And as I'm saying, I don't have any requirement to deal with who shows up. If they can't show up in a way that supports me and what I'm doing, why in the fuck should I surrender to that? Help me understand your logic, because you're not making sense again, Untrackable. I don't mean to be rude, but
Oh,
help me understand.
it makes very much sense that please, you should hold the line and not get lost in those who become want, those who choose, those who engage and put effort into being a distraction from your message. You must hold the line. What they say down
Yeah.
there in the chat is what they say down there in the chat.
Yeah. And they can go elsewhere. I've got the power to ban them. I've got what I can do.
Right.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, you oftentimes give them so much of your concentration and effort
Yeah.
that that there is no you in the goal that you created in the first place. Now the goal is, all right, who's talking shit down there? Who do I have to, put a
No,
mouthpiece on?
you're not following me. You're not. See, you're giving advice without actually understanding me again.
I
So
apologize. That's the way that I heard it. Even watching and how you deal, um, that's my observation, and I'm a willing participant, and I am thankful for you allowing me to participate. Um, but when you create a goal and others so easily sway you into talking about whatever or being lost in the ether, um, you know, you are the host, Jack. You you
no
are the
shit,
door.
Sherlock.
You
Right,
are the door opener.
right. So, and you're not making any sense. Okay, from my position, yes, I'm the door opener. I get to choose who gets to stay and who gets to go. That's an authority that has been given to me by the nature of what I'm doing. Now, I've been very open. I've been so lenient, allowing pretty much everyone to show up. It's not been helpful for me. So, why I'm not, there's people in the chat who are trying to encourage me that you're here to support me. I don't get it. Yeah, Peace Dynamo, you would say that. I'm done with you too. You can just go away. Um, So what is it you're suggesting, please? You're
You know,
suggesting that I continue letting anybody come up and I surrender? I mean, that's where you started with. What is it you're saying? Please help it make sense to me, because I think you're confused.
well, you can you can surrender um, the moment of who's speaking. You can yield the time for listening to those, but you don't ever have to quit your objective.
Okay.
You're not quitting by listening to others.
Okay. How is this helping me, please?
Well,
Are you telling me things that I don't know? Or are you just telling me things you're thinking of? I mean, because I'm not seeing any relevance. I'm and untrackable. I love you, my friend. I know your heart is good, right? You're very, the way I perceive you is you try to be cautious and mindful about the words you say. Um, you try to be, you present yourself as very respectful, but the things you say, man, it's like you're not having a conversation with me. I've sat through a lot of time with you trying to understand, and you're one of these. You're kind of like Cage to me, dude. I don't get it.
well, I apologize. I will try to rephrase.
Well, and here, a million sparks. You're nearing the end of my tolerance here as well. Okay. Um, Matter of fact, why don't you just take off as well? Okay. This is supposed to be the panel versus spiritual being. Yeah. And guess what? You guys have pushed me to my breaking point, to my limit. And it's not really a breaking point. You've pushed me to my limit. I have no desire to put up with this disrespect anymore. Okay. I've tried explaining over and over. This isn't just a hangout spot for people to come and just shoot the breeze, but I've been entertaining this for a long time. And I have no desire to continue being disrespected and mocked by people who don't give a shit.
Have I done you wrong, Jack? By in anything? Have I done you wrong?
Depends on what you consider is wrong.
Well, you describe it,
Well,
please.
how about you tell me, have you joined and have you supported any of the things that I'm promoting or I'm talking about, such as prayer, meditation, a more spiritual life of self-development, a more purposeful driven life of goals and achievement? Have you promoted the idea of trying to end wars? Those are the things that I actually care about. Now, if you don't think about those things, you're not going to talk about those things.
Well, are you asking me, do I care? Or, because the word promote, it has a meaning as well.
Okay.
Do I care? Are you asking me, do I care?
Do you think you have shown support? Do you think that Jack Talcott has received support in the direction of any of those ideas that I'm promoting? Have you supported those?
I believe I have shown support by showing up and
Right.
liking and subscribing and engaging in conversations. I don't know what you mean by support. You want my money?
Nope.
Okay, then that's off the table. What do you mean by support?
This is the point. You don't understand what it means to support. And that's on you. Okay? You join and you think that your presence is supporting. I appreciate that. That's the ego. That's the human ego that thinks its mere presence is some sort of value. I'm prepared to lose subscribers. I'm prepared to lose viewers. It's not that I get a ton of financial support doing this anyway, so I'm not really at risk of losing a lot of that. So
What if I told you that I was at risk at losing my job just from talking to you?
go protect yourself. I don't need you.
No,
Jason.
I was gonna say, what are you asking? Hey, good to see you, Jack. What's going on, bud?
I'm a little fired up today.
No, I could see. I get it.
So the reason I dropped the link today
So,
is I'm seeking support, feedback, right? Because if you can't tell, I'm not very happy with the results that I found in my efforts, right? And in my mind, what my efforts have been is to try and create a better world.
that's where I'm at.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Mostly through music with my kids and stuff like it. Just music.
Okay. I can play nice. I will play nice, particularly with those who are willing to share respect and support for me. What I've been finding is people are finding more pleasure in disrespecting me.
I'm seeing it. I'm on
So
the
how
other
would-
platforms. I see it.
So how would you change it? What would you do?
We change what?
Change the results. I mean, a big part of my results I'm talking about is the people who click the link.
No,
I mean,
fair. Yes. To the ones that were deflecting your results, the ones I keep seeing here and there. And I've learned it over the years too, because they don't fucking like me neither. I fucking ignore them. Just fucking ignore them. Because I'm definitely into changing the world. That's a fucking great thing. Like I love this one song too. It's basically changing the world. It's like she needs help. Help her. He needs help. Open up the door. Like back to the old things we used to live through. Hold the door for the old lady behind you. Don't let her fucking slam in her face as you're walking through. Don't be so ignorant. It's simple things like that that I think could change, should change, but this world's so fucked it's even hard to say it anymore. One Day was the song, One Day.
What you're saying, that's part of my frustration. I see how fucked up this world is.
It kills me.
And I don't see many people in this community that seem to give a shit. I mean, they're willing to sit around and complain and to put blame and to make fun of other people. But I've lost faith, right? And DJ Emo, this is an interesting, even when I'm fired up, I do consider myself to be reasonable. And if you can present a reason, right, reasoning to me, I'm willing to consider it. And this actually is not bad advice. You better remember quick how to have fun with this. It will put your head away. If you're turning to anger or frustration, you are losing sight of the fun element.
Mm-hmm.
How about I did? How about I did lose sight of the fun element? And maybe that was because of the people who were joining me, right? And this, many of the folks who show up are trolls. They get off on trolling people.
Yeah. Like, I followed it in a different way, just the same way you're saying. I was a huge supporter of what they call this community, but no longer that community. Those people I supported fighting for people's rights, especially Janet, that up in Denver, trying to feed homeless people. Some people reached out and like they were trying to take her off the street. She was trying to feed homeless people. Eric Brandt stood up. You had Monkey 83. We had a lot of them. They were out there and said, no, you can't not fucking do this. They won that. And then COVID hit. And then shortly after, it became all this. And I know that 80% of the people watching this, the ones that love to fucking troll you, they're looking at me too. They're targeted. So bring it on. The Ace Authority check. This one, like, try it. I friended them once upon a time, but they also found nothing to do on fucking YouTube, so they started doing that.
All right.
I'm just a fucking drunk Canadian, they say. I fuck him. He's stupid. He's stupid. Okay. Do you?
Hey, this probably true.
Mm-hmm.
I could have started ousting the bad faith actors before I was brought to this point. You're right. Maybe this is something that it might be a pattern of mine. I do allow problems to build. And by the time I do something, maybe it is a mess. And maybe I've allowed this to become a mess. Here, we've got another guest here. I'm going to swap you out for just a moment. Truth or talk?
Greetings, Mr. Talcott. I'm doing well. I'm from the Panelverse, and I'm here to help.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. It's a rough fucking season, dude. It's February, kind of sucks. The middle of winter, depressing, stressful time. I think for a lot of people, I think most people, for myself, and seems to be for you, and I know a lot of other people are going through it.
No.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't actually explain anything, or because what I've been trying to promote is the idea of unity, community, right? If people stop thinking we're all on this all by ourselves, if we recognize that, hey, I may not have everything figured out, but I can help other people, right? I mean, how many times have I heard this from people? Oh, you can't help someone until you help yourself. Well, at what point? I think that's just an egoic excuse that the world has conditioned us to believe. And I think the world has been conditioned to believe in lies. And it's the lies that people believe in that I'm trying to help people confront. Untrackable. You didn't become the clown because telling me that you care. I recognize you care, but what you don't recognize is you don't understand. And I have literally spent at least hours on my live stream trying to understand you, Untrackable, but you have these conversations that I don't know where you're at. It's like you're in a different timeline than me. And actually, truth or cop, you too. Many of the people that I've experienced, we are in different timelines.
Well, that was like the whole bit I started with, right? Like that was a time traveling cop, different timelines. we are. It's like music. Like there's so many different timings. That things are. There's a specific order to everything, and everybody's kind of not synced up on the same page. They're all kind of playing different tempos, and their lives are going at different paces. And
Hey,
it
happy
seems
birthday.
chaotic. Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I tuned in to much of last night in your stream with Machine Lies and the others. And hearing the way that I was represented by some of those people, old Polly Boy specifically, it was revealing to me. It was another like nail in this position of mine saying, yeah, Jack, it's time to cut cords, time to cut these haters and mockers loose.
Yeah, unfortunately, I kind of got pretty drunk, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened really at certain point. I'm sorry if any disrespect was offered there.
No, it wasn't you. But that was something else that was pointed out. Why hasn't Jack offered support to you?
Somebody said that you've always been helpful to me when anytime I've ever asked you, you come over to my panel and shit, share your dump your audience or whatever. I think you've always been helpful to me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, I've tried to. But the reality is, well, I think you and Jason, to be honest, you guys both, not to disparage or do anything wrong, but I think you guys both might have patterns of drinking that aren't healthy for you.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I'm one of the most humble people in the world, and I can admit that.
Can you believe you can overcome it? Can you believe that?
I am. Like, here's the reality: is like, for like I think 9 years, pretty much I've drank like every day. This year already, I've already spent. It's the most I've not drank this early in the year. So I'm on track. I'm getting there. Each year I've been drinking less and less. Last year was like I think a month and a half or 2 months I didn't drink total, which is like that was insane record for me. So this year I got to get like 3 months or something at least. If not by the end of the year, maybe just 6 months or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm at war with myself, Jack.
Go backstage. This is what I've been thriving on, Jack. This is what I've been thriving on. Been doing a lot of traveling all across Canada. Next year's going to be Scotland. This is my son. I don't want him up there. Everybody knows him. You want to hear a little quick clip of what he's got? He's practicing earlier, too. It's pretty cool.
I'm not following. Is your son a musician? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. I put thing backstage there. It has my name on it.
Oh, gotcha.
He's doing amazing with the bagpipes. It's a short clip.
Oh wow, you're playing bagpipes. Yeah.
He got first place in this competition. This was last weekend. He traveled with the Halifax. I'll
And
do travel for him. That was his first solo competition ever. Solo. You got first
That's
place.
awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure there's very few people who even play bagpipe anymore. Like somebody told me the other day though.
You'd be surprised.
It was, oh yeah, as well maybe in Canada, in America, I don't know. But somebody said the other day, like, you know, they say pray for peace, and I saw the thing pinned under the video there. I forget what it said, compassion or something there. Play for peace. Somebody said the other day, like play music for peace. I thought that was an interesting play on it.
I like that one too. 100%.
it was pretty
Yeah,
good.
Untrackable. It's good to see, bro. Different. I can't change the world, but I can make two kids' world go the way it should.
That's one way to do it, but you can also do more as well. If you're paying attention and if you believe you can accomplish far more than you might realize. Untrackable. I want to recognize, okay, Jack does get gruff. And you click the link and I was feisty. I appreciate you, Untrackable. Okay, you are a polite man, and as I said, I recognize your care. But I'm honest. We've not been communicating with one another. And part of what I'm looking at, if I'm going to continue doing these live streams, what is the purpose of them? Okay. I'm not enjoying opening up and getting put on the back burner as people just have their side conversations or talk about all sorts of crap. I'm not enjoying it when I try and bring up ideas only to be interrupted and ignored. So something's got to change. And it's either going to be who and how I allow people to visit me, or it's going to have to be me that changes. And I guess that's kind of the truth too, because I get to choose who joins.
That's what I want to hop on to. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, Jack. Just, I've been through it too myself. Okay, so you see everything kind of get me your way, and I was that way too. People would come up and tell me things their way. I'm talking about my. I've learned to listen to everything, but I'm not telling you that you're doing that. But it's hard to if you're gonna go live and try to make something on YouTube, this and that, have shows live, and have people up, but only dictate the way you see it, and you don't want to hear. Sometimes you want to hear, but then you want to cut them off after so much of hearing because it doesn't agree with you. That's where I've seen a lot of people fail over the years. And yes, I've been here long before you've ever seen StreamYard's. One of the originals around here.
Yeah.
So that's the only advice kind of thing I could say, and I've seen it. Like I've already sat back, last night, last 3 days. I've seen these ones go live. Fuck you, Jack. They're doing this shit, Jack. No, I don't join their parade.
Yeah. Hey, Lindsay, welcome to you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your perspectives.
I'm going to try.
Please.
Can you hear me okay, first of all?
Yes,
I like the way you said you can't change others, because that's pretty much the truth, but you can change yourself. So how could you change yourself? You already said maybe I should stream less, and that I thought that was a good idea. Secondly, you can't give things to others when you are not fully there yourself. And when you get on here and you're talking about God and important things to you, which I would call pearls, you know, don't throw pearls to piggies. That's my favorite Bible quote. Only I'm not quoting it. What's the exact Bible quote? It's
Are you shitting on cops or something, Lindsay? I'm just teasing you.
yeah.
Don't cast pearls before swine.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
It
But
was always fun to have a
I
laugh.
say it a little differently because it's a kind of a crude way. But if you're going to give something to people that has value and meaning to you, why not show up when you're in a mood where you feel full, you feel confident, you feel in a good space, your mood is not affected by outside circumstances. You can appreciate and give to the people who give to you, even if it's not exactly what you want. And you feel strong enough to say, hey, you know what? If you're going to make jokes at me, if you're going to hate me, if you're going to make fun of me, cool. I'm okay with it because I'm an adult and I'm a strong person. I don't like it, but I made up my mind that I'm going to be okay with it. And
I want to back that up for sure, for real. Like that's
Let her
I don't know
finish,
how you do that every day.
Let her
Yeah,
finish.
you do it every day.
Please finish.
These are just practical, actionable measures that I was thinking of in chat. And even simply by coming up here, I will have people saying, oh, you're kissing Jack's ass. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're da da da. Every time I go to the Powder Dusty's room, I get that too. I can only speak for myself. I get plenty of hate and plenty of like for who I like or don't like accordingly. I'm tired of that. I'm done with that. Junior high is over. So I would say if you want to hate Jack, if you want to make fun of him, if you don't get anything from him, take off or, face the consequences, which is you'll probably get kicked out. If you can take something that is said here with you and use it and throw everything away if it doesn't fit your purpose, then you haven't wasted your time. And don't forget that there are some really good panelists that make a lot of sense and make you think too. And that also brings a lot to the picture. Like Joe Cool, he has a lot of really interesting things to say. I like all the different perspectives. And it's not just Jack here. I mean, yes, it is his platform, but it's what you can give and what you can bring. And if all you have is criticisms for what other people are bringing, then get up here and provide something yourself. Quit throwing attacks from the chat. Quit telling people they're ugly or they're stupid or they're annoying. Whatever, you have a right to think what you want. But you get up here and you have the balls and you say something succinctly and beautifully and resonate with people if you can. You try that. It's very hard. Secondarily, I was thinking of one very actionable measure that you could do. At the beginning of this show, you brought up about 4 topics. I was almost overwhelmed because I had comments on each one. And I'm trying to, after you speak, you invite people up, and then they're supposed to talk on one of the topics to help us stay focused. I get that. But where is this list of topics for those of us who forget quickly? Like you brought 3 or 4 different things up. One was changing. How do you get people to change? You brought up the subject of hubris and how do you deal with that? And we got into that a little bit into chat and had some interesting conversations. What measure are all of you doing by virtue of watching this show or getting any kind of idea and turning it? What actionable measure are you doing here? What if you're not wasting your time, what have you gone out and done, thought of, or gotten, I don't know, from this show? And then you also talked about how to get people to change their perspectives and to change their feelings of ennui and like they can't do anything, they're powerless. And one of your criticisms was that your overall goal was just overwhelming, and that's world peace and that kind of thing. How do you pick apart such a goal, and how do you apply it to yourself, and how do you at least make some kind of change would be helpful. And lastly, I'll shut up in a second. If you had either a banner or something underneath your panel that said topics today, list them out 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the things that you talked about. When somebody gets up here and talks about how a snafu said something bad about Sophia or something like that, you're like, okay, well, thanks, but that's not on the first 4. How is that relating to the 4 topics? Come back when you can relate, comment on one of the 4 topics. That kind of seems didactic, like you're the teacher or you're an authoritarian. It might take some of the fun out, but if you want more control over it, it would help guide people to stick on the topic.
It's his show. Like, that's the reality. And Jack, if nobody has their keys to play around with, like, if you want to give them to me for a moment, like, I'd be happy to help set up those banners and things like that to help focus the topic. If you want that, Lindsay, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I've done that before. I don't think I abused it. I don't think you have that right now. So, and Lindsay's hit the first point she made there, though. I wanted to support that one because I don't know how you do it 7 days a week, dude. Get up on this fucking platform and get ridiculed and mocked and fucking that. It's 7 days a week, dude. That's insane. I don't know how you do it. I know you took yesterday off, but my God, dude. And I appreciate, that it takes a certain amount of hubris to do such a thing.
Yeah, I found when I'm in a bad mood.
I'm still here.
When I'm in a bad mood or not in the right headspace, I'm more likely to do something I regret. And you have, like, and what's his name? Untrackable. That guy speaks from the heart. He is really sweet. Yeah. He may be not telling you what you want or need to hear, but you kind of pooped on the poor guy.
No, but exactly what he said, though. He's different. Zach said he's different. He is. He's my best friend. I told him he's fucking different too. But I still listen to him, is what I was kind of getting at earlier.
There are things
I'm not going to thump on him.
Yeah, that you could take from what he says, but he's a hell of a lot more.
He's an amazing person compared to somebody's fucking.
Yeah, he's a hell of a lot more helpful than people that come up here and spurt out.
Doug, check this your show. I know who's reeling in.
Hey, bear with me, Jason. Because of the aesthetics, I'm going to rotate you through. Melanie has been in the back, and I do want to kind of feedback to what Lindsay was saying, but Melanie, welcome to you as well.
Hi, thank you. So I think you're dealing with something a lot of people who do have these kind of panels deals with, which is, first of all, there's one axis, which is, do I want an echo chamber or do I want, adversarial mode every day? And the second is, do I want small panels or big panels? I think the more important one is the first one. And I think for you, your vulnerability is a strength. One of the things I respect about you is that you do make yourself vulnerable to some extent.
How?
By bringing people like
Snap. I agree with Melanie there by far.
I would honestly like to know how.
By bringing people like Snafu on, he'll bring people on that he knows are just there to be adversarial, which to me can be a form of strength if you don't overdo it. I think on the other, I think the solution kind of goes into what Lindsay was saying too. But since you're already hearing don't just stream every day, the other side of this is compartmentalize your content, right? This is a Jack only stream. This is Jack and somebody else and a guest that I've chosen. Or if people come up, it's only 1v1, or this is a panel. And likewise, another way to compartmentalize, I know I'm giving two axes here, but this is the stream where people can be adversarial, and this is the stream where we're here to help each other out and lift each other up, and make sure that's clear in like your titles and stuff like that. Because sometimes I join and I see that the title's very positive, but then I see Snafu on here screaming at you like a little child, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess the title doesn't necessitate what type of content we're going to see. And I think when you compartmentalize things, it allows people who are feeling adversarial to know, like, okay, Jack's just not going to have my shit if I try to join right now, versus today's a day where he might put up with me a bit. I think you're also just up against a lot of other factors that are probably going to be frustrating no matter what you do. And it's because helping people is not the same as it used to be. First of all, we have hyper individualism as a result of consumerism, and you're trying to bring people to collectivism. Does that make sense? Because the way things are marketed to us is like, if you buy that coat, well, now everyone will stare at you and how amazing you are for that coat. And this coat will make your life so much better and solve all your problems. And there's no collective solution in there. You're trying to give people collective solutions. And that's made people kind of backwards in a sense where you're giving them good news. You're saying there's a way out of this hole you're in. But that sounds like bad news to them because you're challenging their worldview.
It requires them to take accountability too, which is there's a lot,
and that's difficult.
Please let me
for sure.
Let me swing back to both of you real quick, if I may. I want to recognize Chuck. Thank you for the support and the contribution. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. May help, I hope. There's part of that, but the reality is I know while we cannot necessarily change one another, as we interact with one another, we have the opportunity to provide influence to one another. And I want to thank and appreciate Jason sitting in the back and became a member. Blessings to you, and thank you for that support as well. Some of these ideas that you're offering, I agree completely with what I heard, and some of the ideas I heard, I can do a better job for sure of helping bring clarity of my hopes, my expectations, and that can be through the banner. I think that's a great idea. Have some sort of listing of the topics, because what you said, Lindsay, I notice I've noticed in myself, I can do that. I tend to overwhelm rather than narrowing down and just really unpacking like specific ideas. Part of it, I've recognized my error, but I've kind of pushed on with that because I had a different idea of what this could become. But certainly I can do a better job of that. And then also compartmentalizing, again, offering more clarity on what is it that Jack's hoping for. And like you said, I've had days where the thumbnail is pointing in one direction, the stream title is pointing in another direction, and then what I actually talk about is a different direction. So,
well, I was going to suggest there about the thumbnail, because one of the ways I stay on topic, like if I have a lot of people to talk about, I've got some complex thumbnails, and I'll pull it when I've done my best episodes, when I'm on point, not like I was last night, unfortunately, but when I pull up the thumbnail and I look at it, it reminds me of what I wanted to talk about. And you already have these excellent thumbnails and these titles, and you're saying they're going in so like that kind of contradicts that advice if they're going in opposite directions. But pulling up that thumbnail over and over for me, when I've been on point, that's what I've done.
And may I actually kind of buttress what Lindsay said, because I think you could give your chat, like if you're an activist, you can give your chats more actionable requests. Like with this ICE and Minnesota thing, that's an opportunity to tell people to call their congressperson and at least complain. I know we can't guarantee results from that, right? But that little bit of extra pressure can make a difference.
I think I've said this before. I think that'll be fascinating content too. If people call their Congress people like live on Jack Talcott's show and they have the conversation or what, like that's actually doing something.
But also, if you can show people how it's done, then they might be less nervous about doing it themselves. Like, oh, that's really easy. Actually, I should do that too.
Yeah, simplify the process. Yeah.
These are small things that you can do so that you don't feel powerless. Like donate to the Red Cross. If you know, pick a specific country or cause or whatever it is. There's just many, many ways. You don't even have to spend money in some ways too. But also, one more thing I wanted to say is above all else, but I'm kind of projecting this because it's so important to me. That would be to allow humor and levity. It's going to be there just as much as contentiousness is naturally. And that's okay. Some of it, to an extent. And when you're talking about such serious things, sometimes it is really funny. You don't even mean for it to be. But I've seen you, Jack, laugh on here and start cracking up, and your mouth is open wide, and you're thinking about what you're going to say next, but you can't. You can't talk because somebody else has to talk. But isn't that one thing that is a joy in life that we can have that is maybe not appreciated enough? I mean, even in the worst of dire circumstances. I read a book about the concentration camps in Germany, and they put on a talent show because they had nothing else to do for hours. It wasn't time to go to sleep. They were in captivity. They were starving. They were in bad shape. You would never, ever expect for them to come up with anything that would be entertaining or fun. They didn't feel good. I mean, there was no reason to have fun. They decided to put on a talent show. This is a true story. And the talent show was so stupid and so bad that people were laughing and, their stomachs hurt. And these are concentration camp victims.
Oh my God. It reminds me of that movie scene in Tropic Thunder. Simple Jack. Remember Simple Jack? Like, what are they like? You never saw that,
Off
Jack?
topic though.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to ask Jack.
No.
Were you at Occupy, Jack?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I was, and we were.
say-
You heard of the
Sorry,
Flobots,
can I-
Jack?
can
We were
I-
talking about this the
can
other
I-
day. We were just
please?
talking about this.
Wait. Let Melanie finish.
What I'm about to say might fall a bit on deaf ears, or maybe you'll know where I'm coming from here. But many people would think of Occupy as being like one of the biggest community building exercises within this century, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually seen something stronger, believe it or not. It wasn't done in the same way. It was a drum circle that occurred every Saturday in a park, but it went on for 3 years, and it attracted more people through there than I saw come through Occupy in the same city and same park. So I think one of the things I've realized is that we lack around here community building events. One of the closest things I've seen to that actually was NPC's award show, which I have criticisms for, like, how much do these awards mean, but it was a fun night. It was fun to watch that. It was fun to talk to people and be in chats and stuff. So I think if you are looking a way to like make this space better and leave your mark that way, it would be to have something like that. And like I said, you could always try to encourage people to do more activism. Somebody did bring up in chat, I think it was actually Peace Dynamo, that IRL content might be a way to do things. And I think they meant more like what Modern Man Lives Again does as part of his like variety content. I think you're good at kind of sticking in your genre, which is semi-political, semi-activist, community building type stuff. So if you did activism, like if you went to rallies in real life, I think you could stream that, because that's still on brand for you. What else was I going to say? Fuck, I forgot my last point, but that's okay. I've been going for a while anyways.
I want to
Well,
expand.
on that note, I've heard about the peace walk, the walk for peace, the Buddhist monks too. And please expand. I just want to make that comment there. But it would be interesting. I know they're near DC.
Oh, it's just that when you look at the most negative, solid foundational thing that we're dealing here with universally, we are all dealing with this earth and the problems and our existential crises and the fact that our government's awry and stocks are going all over the place because of what our president is doing or not doing, and there's so much chaotic things here and there, and Iran and Ukraine and this and that, that it seems almost like at some point, like we would say, you know what, F it, let it burn. We're all going down with this ship. Play some good music, grab a whiskey, and let's go. We're all just
That's kind of nihilistic.
right, just at this place. And then, juxtapose that with, you know what, this is so grotesque, this is so strange, and everybody's thinking everybody is crazy, that it is actually kind of funny in some way, and we are actually going to be okay. And if we could have that message imparted here, that would be great.
For sure. I also, I remembered kind of what I was going to say, and it's another mini monologue, but I'll try to land my plane as quickly as possible. So you're one I've criticized, or at least been really into content about criticizing self-help gurus for a while now. And I'll give you this much credit. You're one of the few who I can say at least actually give a shit about people. Maybe I can't say 100%, but to some degree, you're not doing a grift, as far as I can tell. But at the same time, this space is full of people, and I hate saying this as a debater because it ruins my type of content that I want to do, but the space is just full of people who want drama or to make lolcows of other people, Powder Dusty especially. And I think the best way to deal with this.
Go ahead, please.
I do want to wrap this up because I think there's a solution here. The best way to deal with this is to look at what their weakness is. And their weakness is that they're making lolcows at other people because they'll never be an expert on anything. Yet they want to constantly go on panels and talk like they are an expert. So they always are very confident in what they have to say, so long as there's never another expert in the room. As content creators, and this is my last key point, as content creators, we tend to attract or repel certain types of audiences. If you make intelligent content, you will attract intelligent people and repel people who are less intelligent. The best way to drive away lolcow farmers and the people who are always going to have the worst face interpretation of your intent of your content is to make sure that like, say you have a panel like this, that we reward the people who put a lot of thought into things because you're a very thoughtful person. It's not necessarily about intellect, and we don't necessarily shit on the people who don't, but we just ignore them. It's like, we don't care about your opinion if you can't even put more than one sentence of thought into this.
And I dropped a link backstage about Occupy and the Young Turks, at the one where I was actually in Richmond, Virginia at that time. It's a fascinating dialect, where people were getting along. They were on the same page. The left and the right got along. And then Melanie, I'm not shitting on you, but it started with gay marriage. And then the LGBT right never ended.
Occupy. Wait, okay, so Jack definitely wants to talk about something else. Truth or Cop, if you ever want to discuss this in the future and you see me on a panel, feel free to come
I would love, if you want to get into Occupy and all that shit, dude. What I saw happen about how they separated, what this link I dropped it, where the unity was happening, where the division started, I'd be happy to have that conversation.
Well, the division was always there, but we'll get into that some other time.
Sure.
Hey, there's a number of things that were brought up. That Occupy timing. At the time that was happening, I was still under the delusions of society. I was still living as a part of the American dream, thought I believed in capitalism, right? It's the greatest money system we've ever created, right? It's the best thing for the world. And I didn't really understand what all those hippies were doing out there on the street. And then, I don't remember the year, but that may have been as my mind started waking up. And maybe it was. It
was 2011 or 12. It was 12. It was when the Mayan calendar, they said it was going to shift and the whole timeline was going to shift. It was that year.
But yeah, it was 2011 to 2012.
I was still at that time, I was still an alcoholic, still deep in my addiction, and still living at a very subconscious way of living. And I didn't realize it. I was normal. I fit into society. I was just a part of the system. Once I started waking up and I started seeing what others were seeing, my mind has been blown, guys, by all the ways my mind has been changed. I've been humbled many times, been brought to my knees out of regret and shame because I didn't know. I didn't know what I had participated in when I raised my hand to join the military-industrial complex. I thought I was doing a good thing by serving my nation, and I didn't realize how corrupted and disgusting this nation had become. The way oppression and corruption, it's just so normalized.
To me, like again, like this has to do with, I know your Paul and Slave said some commentary yesterday that wasn't favorable to you. I guess you said that earlier, but the United States was hijacked. It's a foreign corporation. It's a fictitious entity. America is the living soil. That is who we are. We are America. We are the living soil. It's like we eat vegetables. We eat, if we're eating cows or chickens or what they're eating, grains, and the grains come from the earth. We are the living soil. God made us out of clay. That's it. So
pertaining to what you were saying, Jack, particularly about how normalized people are, there's a documentary series. There's actually and another documentary by a documentarian called Adam Curtis, who I would say is one of the best documentarians of all time. And it's explaining exactly how we got this way. The first one is through marketing and how we were kind of made into happiness machines. Thanks to the efforts of someone called Edward Bernays, who was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he took Freud's ideas and applied it to marketing. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So you know about Bernays. The next, so that's a 4-part series. The next documentary is called Hypernormalization. It's just one part. And that's literally about how things like shock doctrine and stuff like that are used to basically just blur our reactions to atrocities and things that we would otherwise consider terrible. So that first link is to part 1 that I just put in the side, part 1 of it. Did I actually put it there? Oh, not yet. Okay, now it's there.
Thank you.
And then I'll put hypernormalization, and then it's easy to find part 2 of Century to the Self from that point on.
Please and thank you.
I think TML actually recommended that same series to me.
It's so good. I think it's the documentary of our documentaries of our time. The thing that future generations will be like, how come nobody was talking about this more?
Yeah. Bernays was the dude who came up with the whole like theory about like promoting cigarettes to women as freedom torches.
Literally,
and it would make their babies smaller and make birth easier. Like insane. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, and the reason he did that is because before it was considered uncouth for women to smoke, and tobacco companies were like, if we can just get women to smoke, that's like literally 100% increase of the people who are buying from, because that's another half of the population. And Bernays was like, well, why don't we hold a rally in New York of feminists who marched down Central Avenue? I think it was. I might be wrong on that, but and what do they do in the middle of that march? Well, all these cameras are pointed at them, timed and scripted. They light up their freedom torches, baby. And yes, that got many women to start smoking. And that turned into an industry where we're told that our problems can be essentially glossed over by buying things that make us feel happier, is the short way to put that. But another side of things is like, you know, you don't buy a coat because you need it to stay warm. You buy several coats because you want to express yourself as being different from everybody else. You want to show everyone how unique.
And you brought up that point earlier, actually, about the coats specifically, and it ties into the whole tempo change that I was talking about with individual tempos versus the collectivism of what you were saying, like the juxtaposition of like the collectivist ideas that
I would argue, by the way, that I think around Occupy, this started more in line though, so separate from Occupy, but around the same time, hate speech and hate towards marginalized groups really started to increase. And the left were the only people who were brave enough to take up that mantle and say, well, we can't have
That to me is the beginning of the descent into
yeah,
disagreement again. That's where the argument began.
well,
We're
you're pointing
all
to
here's the thing, right?
Right.
That's always been like the underbelly of society. That's always been there. It's just there wasn't the internet to bring a whole bunch of people together along those lines. And so
You're talking about all of the things that come together that are rhetoric and propaganda. Whether you're talking about how we view people and hate speech, etc., or you're talking about geopolitics and how we're painting the view of the president and what he's doing, it's all rhetoric and propaganda.
but it's not just rhetoric, Lindsay. It's also how we treat each other. Because when I see you as less than me, I will treat you as less than me, and we can't have a collective society.
Yeah, but that would be your problem and not mine.
No, but here's what I'm saying, right?
I almost fell down the same rabbit hole as Jack and joining the military because of 9/11. Like, right. I was going to go kill terrorists overseas. I was going to take their lives. I was going to take them out because I believed the lie. And I was talking
when you're seeing people with a lens of hate, they can never say or do anything to you that has the same value as somebody who you don't see through a lens of hate. You automatically devalue those people. And no collective society has ever existed without violence while we're seeing people that way.
What I'm trying to say is all this does involve rhetoric. And it's reflected in the macroscopic, the big picture as, the same political rhetoric that we buy. And how easy it is to be affected by and even embrace hate speech or hate or whatever it is that or people are telling you need 2 coats when you live in Florida, and so you must have these because one's not cool enough. We are that vulnerable to political structures and political leanings too. And that is what's scary.
But you've seen Jack deal with snafu. Like there's no, I don't think there's anything.
With this, though.
I'm getting there. I don't think there's any possible thing that Jack can say to Snafu to work with him or get Snafu on the same page because Snafu just hates Jack. There is no nuance to it. There is no like I hate Jack for a reason. He just feels in his heart of hearts to hate Jack, and that's one of the problems with the tolerance paradox. You can't tolerate intolerance and then expect to have something like a cohesive collective society.
It's also a dance, though. There's always a dance between 2 people, whether you're friends or in a romantic relationship or what have you. The dance is the dynamics that take place between you that become commonplace over and over. Let's say it's the way you and I treat each other. If I treat you with respect, that's part of our dance, right? That's part of our getting along. If I treat you with disrespect and call you names, that dynamic stays with us too. And that would be a toxic relationship, and that would be something you need to get out of. So if Snafu, it's up to Jack. If Snafu and Jack have this dance they do where it's repeated over and over again and it's disrespectful to them both back and forth, it's their choice to do it. It's Jack's choice. Jack is choosing to stay in that dance unless he wants to change it and how he deals with it.
I'm going to let Jack get in here.
I'm going to, again, for aesthetics, I'm going to rotate you out, Truth or Cop.
Jeez, no, this is bad aesthetics.
No, we've got 2 lovely ladies here, one of whom I don't want to become a full lady, the other of whom is a gorgeous lady who I've had some negative experiences with. And of course, Jack, nice to see you.
Tonight we've been talking about a few different things, Ben. Specifically, well, I opened the panel up today because I'm looking at changing what I'm doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
The format. That's been part of the discussion.
Oh, okay. I have some real suggestions, but go ahead. I want to hear what she's have to say.
Something somewhat tied to the topic today, overcoming denial, delusion, and hubris. I've had to surrender to the facts of what I've been experiencing, and I've not been enjoying the results of my efforts online. So I have my own ideas. what I'm looking at already is reducing my frequency.
Mhm.
In
Yeah, I
reducing the
get that.
frequency of the stream, hopefully focusing more time and attention to narrow down specific topics, and then offering some clarity to the viewers and the guests on what those topics might be.
Can I offer something just from my
Please.
experience? And you're welcome to
Please.
say this or not. When I first came on the internet, because I wasn't, I actually tried to like beef with people, but they quickly excluded me. So then I was doing my own thing. And there's a funny thing about being in charge of your own stream. It gives you a kind of power that is kind of exhausting because you have to be I see you policing other people constantly, which you may enjoy in some ways, but it gets tiring, you know, like being the teacher. And it's fun to go on other people's panels and not have that responsibility, you know? Even I was with Toilet Bowl Earth last night. He runs his streams in a way that's crazy. You could say anything. He's constantly getting banned. Sometimes it's fun just to say all the stuff. He doesn't care. You let it loose, all the slurs, all the whatever. You know what I mean? And it's on him, and he gets strikes and whatever. And I would just invite you, Jack, like, if you were up for it, it's sometimes fun just to not have to be responsible for your own project and just go see what other people are doing and let them ban you. And, you know, it is humbling. I think I got banned yesterday from 5 different channels. You know, and it's a little bit of a wound, you know, it's a little bit of a strike to the ego, but you get over it. You know, it's the internet. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Ben, are
Like
you
with
admitting
Linzilla
that you
up here,
had?
I tried to make a play at her like sexually, and she rebuffed me. That's okay.
No.
I'm back. I'm ready for more. Yes, Melanie. Sorry.
Are you admitting that you had power over Jeremy since you streamed that entire debacle that just happened?
Oh yeah, there was a way in which we had an enormous power over this guy.
Okay,
because
thank
he was
you.
acting so stupid.
Thank you for
You know,
admitting
you
that,
had a
Elliot.
guy who's on a property that you have like a legal right to, who's just, you know, begging you to call the cops on him. And you know what I mean? At a certain point you'd have to. But it's an interesting thing. I used to be a teacher. It's exhausting to be a teacher. It would be so much fun just to be one of those kids in the back who was just like saying little snide remarks about the teacher, and you know what I mean, and it just being a goofball. It's fun to not have power and authority. It's freeing.
It is.
You know what I mean? And just like everyone, I think on the internet wants to be the boss. I'm not saying you, Jack, but like I think everyone on the internet wants to silence everyone else so they can have their ego just. You know, and sometimes it's fun to just really get brutalized on the internet because it's the internet. You know what I mean? I even enjoyed going to prison, being arrested a bunch of times. It kind of makes you realize like it's not that big of a deal. You know, you fear it until you do it, and then you realize like actually it's not that big of a deal.
So basically, you're telling him just there's nothing that you can do, just enjoy it, because he was looking for measures.
Ooh, Jack?
Yeah, he was looking for what exact.
Linzilla, can you cam up? You are such a beautiful woman. I just would beg you, please. I need it. No? Okay.
Can we stop gooning on stream? Thanks.
Well, she is gorgeous, I have to say. I mean, I'm not trying to be gross or anything. I'm just saying she's a beautiful one. But anyways, am I saying to Jack, I think Jack might.
No,
have
he
some
was
fun.
looking for some advice, and I was just
I'm just saying, like, it might be fun even tonight. He can come.
But you
with
were
us
telling
and
him to
fart
grin and
around
bear
on
it.
panels and just, just kind of.
It is fun, but we're talking about Jack here. He's not the audience; he's the streamer. So what could he
Well, I'm a
do?
streamer too, but I'm here on this panel. I'm not streaming. You know what I mean? And Jack can kick me.
Right. Well, and this is I get what you're saying. And yeah, I actually do enjoy, I enjoy being able to go to other people's panels where I don't have to worry about mod. I don't have to worry about the topic. I can just hang out. I've stopped doing that because so many of these other panels, they just allow it to be a place to bash on Jack. And then I end up getting attacked and just disrespected by other people. So like Powder Dusty, I don't go there anymore. I don't really enjoy going to Paul anymore. I don't go to OTW. All these places are just kind of, they're wasting their fucking time.
Maybe go to some other places, those places you haven't, like, I spent a few months, Jack, it was interesting, like in the blackosphere, just on black panels. And it's interesting because they treat you differently, because this is like, becomes like a thing. Like if you look European, and in some ways they're much more forgiving. Do you know like our Lord said once, like the prophet is nowhere as, how does it go? Like as treated as poorly as in his own hometown. So maybe get away from these guys. There's a whole internet out there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's been my real life. And actually, I think Lindsay started with that quite a while ago regarding scripture, don't cast pearls before the swine.
Yeah, exactly.
They will trample you. And that's what happened in my hometown. I was rejected in my physical hometown. I guess I found another dysfunctional hometown in the Panelverse.
I always told the black folks, the hardest people on black folks are other black folks. They want to keep you in the ghetto, in a sense. You know what I mean? So I always say, screw it. Sell out to the white man. Make money with me. I'm white. Like, come over to white people. They don't see enough black people. You know what I mean? Don't stay here saying I have to prove myself to other black people. Screw them. Just get in the car, get out of the ghetto, and come to suburbia where there's white people. On the internet, you could do that. Snap of your fingers. You know what I mean? But then they feel like, I'm going to get attacked by other blacks for selling out.
Well,
and
there is another aspect of this as well. Yeah. I mean, the only reason I am on YouTube or on social media is because I feel that I've learned some things that could be helpful for others.
Absolutely. Right? I agree with that. I'm the same way.
The idea is to try and share what I've been learning. However, the majority of guests who join my panels, they're not showing much interest in what I have to share, right? They're just, it's a symptom of the ego. And this is, it's a common problem I see in our society. And Ben, in the greater world, we are the human species who is alive at this time. And all the world problems, they're created by people. So if people are going to be the problem, well, people have to become the solution. So why not us? Why could we not be the ones who somehow reclaim power and control over this out of control United States government?
Sure. But my question is, do you always have to play the role of the guy streaming every day for about 2 hours to the same audience? Like, you can share your message as a panelist. You can share your message are universal. You can go on Christian panels, atheist panel. You know what I mean? Why does it have to be just on this one mode, which may be getting a little old for you? You can go on Disc. You ever been on Discord? They have these like guys who sit there all day long waiting for someone to argue with. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's fun. They're very insightful at times.
This is kind of what I meant about like compartmentalizing your content, and when you're feeling like something adversarial. Because like most days that I wake up, I just don't feel like I can even deal with people. And I think a lot of people hold themselves to some sort of goal, but they don't actually listen to their bodies and their minds and like, do I actually feel like I can stream today? And then they burn themselves out really quickly.
Yes, that's true. And Jack, it's actually good. I think you know this. It's good for a streamer to get outside of his own comfort zone, because then you will find other people who are attracted to you, who will follow you back. You know what I mean? And it may not be who you expect. And that allows God also to, you might just click on what's live, open panel. Might be something totally unrelated to anything, but you might strike a chord with those folks. And
did Snow not come from Powder Dusty's community? I'm not trying to out Snow. I think that's a good example of somebody who you might have brought over from there, and how Ben has a point. I don't think you should ever do those type of panels because they're not your domain. without at least anticipating the adversarial mode, because a huge function of what goes on around here is word of mouth, and rumors spread fast. So you can show up to a place that you've never interacted with and they know more about you than you know about them.
And I think the best thing to do is just come in sincere. You don't have to do research on it before you get there.
Yeah.
Be polite, and when the spirit moves you, you contribute. I've always found that it doesn't work very well. People get ban me all the time, but you're much more of an amenable person, Jack. You're much more polite than me.
Yeah. Hey, I think I am ready to start wrapping up for the
No
day.
worries.
So,
Well, why don't I sign off quickly by saying, Jack, I do appreciate the platform you've provided. I've been trying not to come on in adversarial mode for you because I do, at least in part, respect what you're doing. And I hope you, to some extent, continue to do what you've done tonight, which is have a platform for people to come and talk about, because I'm working on a theory that's partially derived from the social ecology I talked to you about. It's actually going to buttress a lot of different theories, one of them being something called necropolitics, and I'm calling it eco-necrotics. So it's going to take me a while to write that, but as I start to flesh out more chapters and stuff, I'd love to come on and kind of talk about the kind of tapestry I'm weaving with that. Because I've always kind of wanted to write a theory book to help put some things into perspective for people, but I had to do a lot of reading myself. So,
Jack, if it's not too rude, of course you can do whatever you want. But if you wanted to, I don't know what you call it, host, raid.
I'm going to go. Sorry.
If you want to raid, Grace has a stream. Bye, Melanie. She has a stream set up. If you wanted to send folks over there. Oh, here
Hi,
she
Jack.
is.
hey,
Jack's in the doldrums, Grace.
I know.
It's February 2nd, very common this time of year.
I heard him. He seemed upset. I'm
Frustrating.
sorry that I'm late, but
oh, you're good.
I think he's stuck in the ghetto, of this group of people. I want to get him out of the ghetto.
It's time for changes for me. And this is what I recognize.
Changes, time
Yes.
to make a change.
Changes. Jack, you should be huge on YouTube. Let me tell you that. I'm not blowing sunshine up your skirt. You should be huge on YouTube. You're one of a kind. You're unique. You should be getting thousands of views. I don't tell everyone that. I do not tell everyone that. Melanie is wonderful, but like she's not going to be that because she doesn't even cam up. But you should be huge on YouTube. Maybe we can help spread the good news about what a great guy you are. Of course, everyone hates us as well. So,
But if you don't want to do that,
I've seen you doing that. I've seen you being very positive and encouraging with me, and I do appreciate it. I really do. And thank you for that heads up. I do have a set. We're gonna forward over to Thorpe Tube.
all right, and you're welcome to come by. And it's fun to be a panelist.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what?
Maybe we'll boot you and then bring you back. We'll treat you like
Hey.
you get. You never treat us, but like
I appreciate it.
most welcome, Jack. I
Thank
just got Grace out of a ghetto mentality. She had this mentality about this project she's doing in the garage, and she thought it had to be done this way. And I was like, "What about this?" And then she just like, "Okay, yeah, no, I don't have to do that." I think it's a great impulse. Let's try something different.
Respect. Maybe I'll head that way and hopefully visit you very soon.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some final words unless
All
you've
right,
got
thanks, Jack.
anything to offer. Blessings, Ben.
Bye, Jack. Hope you feel better.
Hey, blessings to you. Truther Cop, I threw you in the back. Are you still there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm still here. I was watching the whole dynamic. It's fascinating. Yeah, no, I'd throw myself on the back sometimes too if I was you. So, you already get thousands of views, Jack. Ben did offer that you'll get thousands of views and this and that. You already get that on your own. You're already doing your course. They're coming to you for a reason. Because you have something to offer them. that's not being put forthright in front of them for some reason. And you're free to just dismiss that and not acknowledge it, but that's fine. Like, we can have a private conversation about that. I don't care. They need you for a reason, Mr. Talcott. And I appreciate the discussion tonight. And can we play that? Can we play that? The brief thing that I dropped in the back earlier when Melanie was. Well, we can't do it. Dang it! All right,
No.
fine.
I'm not.
I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your ass, Mr. Talcott, but you're fucking amazing, and you should totally forward me your audience, and I could do a whole bit about that, but I don't have to ask you like that. I just am real with you, and you do that for me because I would do it for you, and that's not what I see going on there. So I appreciate you and your time, and I'll leave you there. I love you. Talk to you later.
All right. Peace and blessings. Thank you, Truther Cup. Armani, I see you in the back. I'm not going to bring you up. I don't recognize the name, and I'm already announcing I'm wrapping up. The topic today, overcoming denial, delusions, and hubris through surrender, the reminder, deceptions and secrecy. That is what keeps us at war. Truth and compassion bring us peace. And the most direct way I have found for truth and compassion, it's through prayer and meditation, a humble invitation to the higher power, and a surrender to the presence of now, recognizing the God within in the present of now. That is your salvation. And it starts here and now, and it ends here and now. Well, here and now ends as the future begins, but be with God. Be with love, be with truth for now and always. Today, we also talked about the future plans of this stream. And for those who make it through the rough edges of me, for those who are still here and see the value, blessings to you and thank you. I want you to believe, if you'll allow yourself to believe, that we are here on earth at this time for a greater purpose. We're not just here to earn a living. We're not just here to survive. We're here to learn, to grow. We are here to learn, to grow, and to thrive. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to wrap it up here. For those who are interested, I do have a set to forward over. I'm going to wrap it up. Brothers and sisters, thank you. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless. And if you forward over, share some love and peace and blessings for all. Good night.